making me feel like I'm in an interview. Probably put some earrings on. Not enjoying my face today, I'm afraid. And I'm hoping an earring will fix that. No. Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I've decided to be a bit rogue and I'm sitting down for this video. That might be very lazy. Probably is. But you know what? I'm trying it out. Different setting. Essentially, this room doesn't really get any natural light. So I'm doing what I can to get the maximum brightness. But today, I thought it would be a fun idea for me to give my opinions on whether popular Booktok books are worth your time. Full disclaimer, this is completely my opinion. I know a lot of people probably upset with some of the things I have to say, disagree with me, and that is fine. That is absolutely fine because there's many people that I disagree with and I move on and it doesn't bother me that much.
Sometimes.
But that is one thing I love about the book community. We share our opinions, we're respectful about our opinions, and if we all like the same thing, it would be a very boring world. And I was going to do like all the classics from like 2020, but then I thought, who wants to see that? It's been done. So I've decided to choose a few more books from more recent times, maybe within the last year or so, in what I've seen anyway. Like, I'm very aware people's For You pages are extremely different. Mine's basically cats at the minute. So who knows? Maybe I'm being really outdated and there's 10 brand new books I haven't even heard of yet because I'm just so out of the Booktok loop. But being a booktoker, I thought, why not give my 2 cents in on this challenge? And I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Mine have definitely been hurt at some point watching one of these videos. Let's get into it. The first book that I'm going to be chiming in on my opinion is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone and their mum has heard about this book, and everybody and their mother knows that you will cry if you read this book. And I'm here to tell you that you will. I honestly don't remember the last time I was this excited when I found a book on TikTok, saw everybody talking about it, saw everybody crying about it, and instantly knew that I wanted this book and I was going to go out of my way and buy this book as soon as I could. And that is what I did. And I dropped all other books I had in my TBR pile to read this book, and I don't regret a single thing. What I love about this book is that it's such different genre to a lot of things that I've read and a lot of books I have seen on Booktok. There is such a niche to the story, but in the same breath, it's so accessible for everybody, all readers. Whether you're into romance, whether you're just into casual reading, whether you're into gaming, it's all there for you, for someone. I am not a gamer in any sense of the word, and I never have been, probably never will be, but I still enjoyed this book so much. I found it so interesting, and I was interested in the gaming aspect of the book. And I think that she's incredible writing from Gabrielle Zevin. I think she makes you feel so immersed in the world, and she makes you care so much about these characters that you care about everything that they're doing. You care about everything, and you want them to succeed, and you want them to be successful, and you want to play the games. You want to play these fictional games. I think we could summarise from that answer that I definitely think this book is worth it. And I have been shouting about this book. I know a lot of people have also been shouting about this book. Please don't let our calls go into the void. Please don't let us just be shouting aloud. Please give this book a go. Guys, I'm not being dramatic. I do think about this book every day. I think about Sadie, I think about Sam, I think about Mark every single day of my life. I won't sugarcoat it for you. This book is very sad and it will make you cry, but it will also make you love. And the tagline for this book, where is it? It's not about love. Where is it? The tagline for this book, I just think it's so clever. This is not a romance, but it is about love. And about love it is. I cannot wait till Gabrielle Zevin writes a new book because I will be all over that. Tomorrow, kind of a more recent Booktok book from last summer. I think I read it in around September time, and yeah, like I said, since then, thought about it every single day of my life. Will recommend it to everybody. Love this book, and I want you to all read this book. Thank you for your time. Next up, Facing My Judgment, is Alone With You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. If you don't know the backstory of this book, basically it was self-published, TikTok was going wild for it, social media was going absolutely feral for it, so publishers picked it up and released it a few good months later. And in this time, everybody was so excited. Anticipation was building, excitement was building. I just remember thinking, I need this book now. I need to see what everyone's talking about. I need to know if it's worth the hype. I just needed it. The level of buzz that was surrounding this book's release was immense. It was crazy. And I think, for me, that might have been part of the problem. This honestly feels like a confessionals tape, like This Joe's and the Sex or something. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are going to be upset with me for this, but I wouldn't say it was the best book I've ever read. And I know a lot of people did feel that way. I know a lot of people cried and felt such emotion reading this book, but that wasn't there for me. I don't know if there's something wrong with me or if I just didn't feel connected to the story. I feel like I had high expectations, and I hate when people say this. I don't like the phrase overhyped or anything like that, but I kind of want to say in this case, for me, that was what happened. That being said, I did enjoy the book. I read the book quite fast. I really liked the writing. I thought the writing style was really great, and I would love to try Olivy's other books. I'm really excited about the Atlas 6. This book in no way was a bad book. It just wasn't for me, I don't think. And I've seen a lot of people get annoyed at people for not really understanding what the book was about. But I don't think that's fair. People can dislike your favourite books as much as that hurts your feelings as it hurts mine. It happens. It's going to happen. Not everybody has the same taste. Not everybody has the same preferences. It's just simple facts of life. I think I rated this book 3 stars, which is my solid, I like this book, but I'm not going to be shouting about it anytime soon. I'm really glad that I did read it. I'm really happy for the people that love it, you know? People find all sorts of comforts in different stories. People feel themselves being told in stories, and that's absolutely wonderful. I can almost hear your rage behind the screen. I can almost see you clicking off this video in annoyance at me. And I'm sorry. I am not saying this was a bad book. It just wasn't one of my favourites that I've been recommended or seen on TikTok. I'm sure a lot of you have a lot to say about that. Next, we're kind of taking a detour, and that's with Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I think that I read this at a time when I just needed it the most. An enemies to lovers, sunshine/grumpy, small town romance, found family vibes, and for me, when I read this at the time, exactly what I needed, and I loved it. I cannot lie, I loved it. Absolutely lapped this up. I was laughing, I was crying, I was kicking my feet together, squealing, you know, all that vibe. And I can honestly say I cared about every single character in this book, and I wanted to hear their story. Sometimes TikTok romances, for me, are a bit hit or miss. I've got to a kind of stage with romances where I've read so many that some of them just don't do the trick for me anymore, and I just find them a bit boring. I wouldn't say I'm a heavy romance reader. I don't know if that's a massive lie or not. I just don't feel like I've read a lot of romance in the past like year or half a year. Lucy Score and this series made me so excited about reading romance books again. I love it. I just love it all. I love it all, and I love this book, and I was so happy that I loved this. In my opinion, this book is completely worth it, and I loved it. I'm afraid for the next book, people are going to be extremely unhappy with me because I feel like the outsider with this one. I feel like the anomaly. Is that how you say it? I feel like the one that's wrong. I feel like I have the wrong opinion on this book, which makes me really sad because I really wanted to read it. And I was really excited. 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. Don't hurt me. Everything I saw about this book and everything everybody was saying about this book made me truly think that I was going to absolutely love it and it was going to be one of my next favourite books. But that just wasn't the case. I didn't connect really at all with the main characters. I didn't even really cry. And that's weird for me, because I cry at anything. I cry at the drop of the hat. Reunion scene, I'm crying. I was thinking something was wrong with me. I was thinking, am I heartless? Do I just stop reading because I don't like reading anymore? Like, what was going on? Because everybody loved it, and why wasn't I loving it? I don't ever want to be mean. I don't want to say nasty things, but I think it might have been the writing. I felt like the way the characters spoke was at times very immature, and they sounded a lot younger than they were meant to be. Maybe I'm completely wrong there, but that's my feelings about it. I can't believe I didn't cry. Made me feel really heartless. Didn't hit the mark for me, didn't do it for me. Like I said, I had every intention of loving this book going into it, and I wanted to cry. Like, I wanted to feel something, and I didn't. It just wasn't one for me, and that's okay. Last, but definitely not least, it is of course, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. And I know what you're thinking, Abby, that's not a TikTok book. That's been out for ages. Like, this is a classic, and you are right, it has been out for a while, but it's kind of had like a renaissance, a resurgence seen on TikTok, and that's where I've heard about it. That's where a lot of people I think have heard about it in recent years, days, months, and that's certainly why I picked it up. So that's why I'm referring to this book as a book I've seen on TikTok. Before anyone gets angry and jumps to their keyboard, that's my clarification. In a nutshell, worth your time, yes. Worth the read, yes. Will you cry at the length of chapters? Yes, you will. I think this book, how many pages? It's like really thin paper as well. So this book has 600 pages. I think I remember seeing about 5 chapters. So let that sink in. I really didn't think I was gonna like this. I'm not really one for like mystery, thriller, dark academia, but I loved it. I really did. I really liked it. And I'm just glad I've read it. Like, I'm glad I can say I've read it. I was so interested in each characters and I so wanted to be involved. It makes you feel like outside of the secret, like you're outside of the circle for a long time. And then when they finally let you in, you feel part of the inner circle. You really do. I can definitely see how this is a modern classic. I can see why, and I can see people reading this years from now, probably studying it at school. It left me with a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions reading it and I have a lot of questions at the end. Still have a lot of questions now. And to me, that's the mark of a great book, a great novel, and a great story. I think this has one of the most interesting prologues I've ever read. Definitely like hooks you from the start. It absolutely does not leave you an option to stop reading. You have to read it. As soon as you open this book, you're gonna have to finish it. And that's the rules. Characters are just horrible. All of them are just horrible people. And that's what makes it such a fantastic read. And I'm glad that TikTok's brought this to my attention, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have picked it up, as with a lot of books. But definitely like classics, modern classics, because sometimes I feel like when it's not for uni and it's not for college, when I sit down, I don't necessarily think that I could digest a classic as easily as if I wasn't studying it. But this one flew through this, had no problems. It has made me want to try more books like this, maybe more books by Donna Tartt, but definitely more books that are considered modern classics and books that maybe are slightly harder to digest and are not necessarily the books that people associate with TikTok and a TikTok book and what's trending on Booktok, because there's so many books that I see on TikTok and Booktok that aren't necessarily the mainstream ones that you see when you go into a shop and they're laid out on a table and everyone just assumes that that's what Booktok is. But before I get too passionate about that, it's so much more than that. And Booktok is a platform that gives you a chance to just expand on your taste, discover so many more amazing books, hear people talking about books, hear people passionate about books, hear people disagreeing with books and saying they didn't like it. And I find all of that stuff amazing and interesting. And that's why I love the Booktok community. I know sometimes it gets a bad rep for having the same 5 books, but I definitely don't experience that on the platform. I have discovered so many more amazing books than what I've talked about in this video, what I've talked about in the past. I do get very passionate about the subject. I do feel very passionate about it. I don't know if you can tell, but I am. And that's the great thing I think about being able to express opinions and me being able to say that there was certain books that I didn't necessarily like or didn't necessarily feel a connection to, because that is what reading is all about. And it's no different when you're sharing your opinion online. And it's very important, I think, to be honest. And not just say that you like something because it's popular, because we will never get anywhere in the world if we're all like that. Every day I'm discovering more books to read. I'm reading more books, or trying to when I'm not absolutely exhausted from work, but I'm trying to read more books. And if there's been any books that you've personally seen on TikTok that you'd want to hear my opinion about, please let me know. These have been today's victims of my opinion. I think most of them did pass, but I was trying to be brutally honest with you. There's not that many. There's many more I could talk about, so if you do want to see a part 2, let me know. Now, I'm currently reading Bunny, which I think people have described as having the same vibe as Secret Histories, and reading the first few chapters, I'm getting those vibes. Love the colour, love the concept, so want to hear my opinion about this one? Please let me know, because I'm always happy to share my opinion, even when it's not wanted. But yes, thank you so much for watching, if you've made it this far through my ramblings of this video. And as always, please give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see next. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video and I will see you next week.